If you are using Docker for Mac or Windows or installed Docker Toolbox, then Docker machine would be available on your workstation automatically. Else, you can download it manually as well. With Docker machine, we would be deploying an instance on DigitalOcean and installing Docker on that automatically. For that, we would first get our API key from the DigitalOcean, by which we can programmatically deploy an instance on DigitalOcean. After getting the token, we would be exporting that in an environment variable called do_token, which we would be using in the Docker machine command line as shown on the screen, in which we are using DigitalOcean driver and creating an instance called Docker host. Docker machine would then create an instance on DigitalOcean, install Docker on that, and configure the secure access between the Docker daemon running on the Docker host and our client, which is on our workstation. We can use Docker machine env command with our installed host, Docker host, to find the respective parameters by which we can connect to the remote Docker daemon from our Docker client. We can see that all the certificates which are required for authentication are installed at the location shown on the screen. On the DigitalOcean interface, we can also see a VM has been created called Docker host. With the eval command, we can export all the environment variables with respect to our Docker host to our shell. After exporting those environment variables, the Docker client on our workstation would directly connect to the DigitalOcean instance and run the commands there. The star sign in the Docker machine ls output for the active section means that our Docker client would connect to that remote Docker daemon and run the commands there. Like here, we are starting a container with Docker container command, which would first fetch the image and run the container on the Docker host. To verify, we can log into our Docker host using SSH and see that the respective container which we started in the previous section is running. We can also see that the Docker daemon on the Docker host is configured with the TLS authentication and is listening on TCP port. And that is why we are able to connect from our Docker client. Now we are coming back to our workstation, and with the Docker machine rm command, we can remove a Docker machine instance. Docker machine rm command would also delete our droplet on DigitalOcean.